What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to Pax Dei. Now, this is be a part two of the review. Now, some people are saying, well, you didn't have any gameplay or anything, or all you did was smash rocks. So I was like, okay, well. So here's what I'll go through. I'll just kind of go through a little bit of everything about what's going on, or well, not what's going on, but how to do things. So this video may be a little bit longer than what you wanted, but it'll go into more detail as far as everything goes. Got the sun coming up, so it should be a beautiful morning. And we'll just kind of start things off with a cinematic view of things and give you kind of an idea. Now, this is the, I don't know, factory base, whatever you want to call it, starting of the of our clan. We are actually on the side of a mountain, and we built that way for one. Your plot, you have what's called plots. Okay, so let's just start with that. First thing you're going to do when you join the game, you're going to build a hammer, and then you're able to place down a plot. By placing down a plot, it lets you claim the land that you want to build on. Like you'll see here in the background, you'll see all these plots that are orange, indicating that somebody has claimed that. And if they're part of a group, they can share with that group, or they can keep it just for themselves. So there's the plots allow you to build. Okay, and now you can only build in what's known as the Heartland. That's these areas like Gale, Shire, down, Ardabog. Here's Unilad or Unilade, and then Wit. So those are the only areas that you can build in this particular province. Now, there's several different provinces that are part of the one whole map. So the area that I first showing you was up in this area up here, which was where I was gathering up that iron. So, this map is literally huge. Okay, we can, in the area, this is just one province. So every time you can jump, you can go to the next province, or next area of the province. And it's all separated by what's called the wildlands. That's what this area here around every sub or province or sub area, I guess you call it. So the map itself is really massive. Okay, so you have lots of area which you can claim. You can claim the side of a hill or a cliff or a plateau. That's what I've done here. So give you kind of an idea. Let's go ahead and put my hammer back. Well, actually, before I do that, so what you should do is, if you wanted to claim a plot, you'd right click, okay? Then you'd go over here to plots, and now you're going to have 0 plots claimed, but you'll have your plot to be able to claim. And then when you go to claim a plot, you're like, okay, you select whatever you want to claim, and then you, like, I want to claim here, then you'll left click and boom, now that piece of land is yours. So it extends. Okay, so let's get rid of the hammer. Go into the cinematic view. Okay. So it extends from however the high the building ceiling is all the way down. And so that's how you could basically use one plot to which to build, like I did here. Built a nice little stairwell going down to the ground. So that if I need to get resources down here, I can go into this forest here and gather resources, or I can go back up, okay, and go in this area here. Now we're still working on our building, but you're building on the side of a cliff. It's pretty challenging, but it's fun. I like it. Give you kind of an idea of what you can build. Building is one of the big things that's in this game. There's lots of people have built some amazing things. Okay, like here's somebody who built a pretty cool looking church here. All right, they've kind of started a little small town. The buildings themselves look really nice. You know, this is all built by the players. This is not built by anybody. You know, and then you can come over this. I'll go more this direction. Okay. And down here at the water, I mean, look at this this river here. Okay, somebody built there, and then they've, you know, built this nice looking area here. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Again, this is all been done by the players themselves. You know, and so the building aspect of this game is just absolutely amazing. You know, you can. There's. I personally, I think it could still use a little bit of work on, because sometimes when you're placing different things, it gets to be a real pain in the rear. You know, you're trying to place one item a certain way and it won't snap right, won't work out right, so you have to kind of finagle it to finally get it to work right. But overall, the building is very good. Now, so you see how people just come up with some amazing stuff, you know. Here's, they built this one up on stilts, you know, that's pretty cool. Got a little, I guess they built a diving tower. There's some imagination. Go dive off into the water. All right, so up here, you know, you got some more stuff that people have built, you know, and, you know, here's like a little castle, church, whatever. It looks really nice. You know, this is just you know, it's amazing how what some of the people have come up with as far as building in this game. It looks really cool. You know, really, really nice. Building up on side of the mountains, on side of the cliffs and stuff like that. You can come up with some really cool ideas. You know, here's some more. So again, you know, this is just all stuff that people have built. You know, the using the different shapes and things you want to use in which to build your base, castle, whatever you want to call it. You know, this is really neat. This is somebody who built on this house, or side this building. Now, and then they built a stairwell going down. So yeah, that looks really neat. You know, so you can basically, you know, build anywhere in this world that you can have access to, as long as it's in the heartland. Now, the wildlands you cannot build in. So you can only build in the heartland. So that's the basic build. Now, when you go to build something, all right, you have your hammer out and you want to place down something. All right, great. So you'll go to construction. All right. And under construction, you'll have all these different shapes. Now, here's the thing. If you wanted to get all these different shapes, you have to invest time into what is called carpentry. Carpentry is a skill in which it allows you to build all these different shapes, roofs, you know, fences, whatnot. This allows you to do all that. Okay. If you don't have carpentry leveled up, you'll have some basic stuff that you'll be able to build. You'll be able to do, you know, maybe some foundations, some hut walls. You'll be able to build, but you're not going to build anything fancy. You will build only a basic stuff. So your house is going to look really cheap, or you know, it's not going to look elaborate, or, you know, look really nice. You know, it's going to take you a while to get there. So with that, then you'll have what's called the, so that's basically how you build things. Now, when you're building things, okay, so like, let's just pick, here, we'll just pick this pole. Actually, no, we'll go ahead and build a wooden floor foundation. Okay, so you have a wooden floor. Now, as you place the wooden floor, okay, see how it'll snap in, all right, and if you rotate your mouse, it'll spin it around and around. Okay, so if you look, you'll have different colors. Okay, so you'll have the dark green, then you'll have this light green, then you'll have a yellow, you'll have an orange, and then you'll have red. If you place it down and it's red, that means you're not going to be structurally sound. It'll actually, that piece of wood or block will actually break. As long as it's orange, you're good to go. See, so if you put it in a little bit, it'll turn it orange. And then otherwise, you have to have a way to actually get to a solid foundation. All right, so if we took this pulp, right? So it's orange. All right, and it's yellow there. So if we can use our Alt key, okay, and mouse scroll and actually force it to go down. Now, if it just turned green, okay, so what that means is that it's on now on a solid foundation. All right, it's part of it's gone into the earth or dirt or whatever, and now it's considered a solid starting point. All right, so we go ahead and plot that down. Now that instantly changed the color of this block or this wooden floor, because now it's attached to a solid foundation. It's no longer just sitting up in the air. So with that, you can actually add, right? Like before it was red, now it's yellow. So we were able to extend this out and see, like this here, it's going to be red. Now you can go ahead and place it, but what's going to happen? It'll break. Poof. And then your resources go back in your inventory. So in order to put another flooring down, you'd have to add another foundation. So you'd have to add another foundation over here or connect it to something in order to make that. So like whenever we're building these stairs, all right, or this here platform here, you'll see that there's beams that are going into the ground or into the rock and then coming up, and that'll give you a better foundation supports so that you can build more farther away from the ground itself. So that's the whole building. I mean, building itself is really, they've done a really good job. Like I say, I think there could be some improvements in it. But again, this is early access, but for overall, the building is actually really cool, really neat. All right, so now let's get into crafting. All right, so this is the really big one. Now, all these different things you have here. See, this is under building, so a lot of this is used. Here's a carpentry workbench, basic carpentry workbench. Campfire, a chopping block. These are all the different stations in which to do your crafting at. Okay, the only thing if you right click, okay, or if you just hit tab and you want to go to craft, okay, the only thing you're going to be able to craft is some basic tools. Okay, a torch, a wooden arrow, a stone axe, construction hammer, a pointy stick, and a crude shield. That's the only thing you can craft without a workbench. So you have to have a workbench in order to craft anything. Let's get rid of that hammer. All right, so these are these are your charcoal kilns. Okay, so you put wood in it and you get charcoal, and that takes time. So like this is what's called heartwood charcoal. It takes 80 heartwood, and it takes 24 minutes to give you 40 charcoal. Here's sapwood, and that takes 20 minutes to give you 25 charcoal. So, and then here's, these are different looms. So this is how you make fabric. You're turning a string of some sort into different fabrics. Okay. Here is a grain mill. Okay, so you put your grain in, and you'll get your flour. Now, so it takes 20. Let's say we're going to do wheat grain. Here it takes 20 wheat grain, and it's going to take an hour in which to create 20 flour. So you may spend an hour going out and getting your wheat. Okay, you collect your wheat, and you bring it back over here. You put it in this grain mill, and it'll take an hour to change it from the wheat grain to flour. And then you can take that flour and you can go over here to your workbench, your basic cooking bench. Okay, and like for instance here, here's oat dough, excuse me, which is oat flour. It takes 2 oat flour, some yeast, and some water, and you'll make 5 oat dough. Okay. Then you can take that dough and you can turn it into other things, such as, here you can use it to make bread. So here you have 1 oat dough and you have 1 lard, and then you can create some bread. Now, all these different breads and foods that you can craft give you buffs, okay? They give you all kinds of buffs. Extra health, extra damage, extra damage, not extra damage, extra damage resistance. Things like that. So they're really, really, really good to have. Now it takes time to gather up and start crafting all these different things. Here is your alchemy bench, jewel crafting, tailoring, carpentry bench, wood chopping block, leather work table. Here's a weaponsmith bench, a founder's crafting table. Here you have your forge, blacksmith, armor smith, fletching, that's be for your bows, wine barrel, which is for your brewing. So you'll have all these different benches that you'll need in order to turn, basic goods into more advanced goods, and then more advanced goods giving you your end product. So, like, you wanted a piece of armor, you want to make this shield. All right. So you have to have all these different little items in order to craft it. So you're going to basically start out with, you'll need some wood, basic components, wood and iron. Okay. So you go out and you get you some wood. How do you get wood? Okay, so let's go get some wood. It's pretty simple. You're going to make yourself an axe. Eventually. Now, this is a wrought iron axe, which is pretty good. Find a tree, walk up to the tree, and start chopping it. Pretty basic stuff. You chop down a tree. Now, that particular tree gave me 23 sapwood and 8 silver fir branch. As far as I know, the silver branch it's not even being used right now, so you can just literally just drop that on the ground. We don't care about that. All right, so now you went and got some wood. Now what are you going to do with it? Okay, so let's go ahead and back up here to take a look at what we were trying to build. We were trying to build this. Let's go to a different shield. Let's go with this one. So you need this wood, but we need to turn it into short wood stocks. Okay, so then you take your basic wood, go over here to your wood chopping box, make you a short wood stock. All right, so we'll do that. All right, so now we got our short wood stock. What else can we do with it? All right, so now we have our short wood stock. So we're going to need a iron spike, some iron nails, and some iron sheets. All right, so on the other video, I was sitting there banging rocks. So again, if you wanted some iron, let's go ahead and go get us a little bit of iron. Now, this is going to be impure iron that we're going to need. All right, I don't think I have any extra here right now. No, I got a little bit, but not enough to do a full smell. But what you do is you go out. Hello. I almost got stuck. Anyways, all right, so we're gonna go out and bang on a rock real quick. All right, so you got to go out and you need some iron in order to make that shield. So eventually you're going to have to work on, well, how do you get the axe or the pickaxe I'm fixing to use? Well, you got to go have iron in order to do that. you'll need to make yourself a pickaxe. Okay, you do that through weaponsmithing. Okay, once you get your iron pickaxe, then you can take that and go out here and go bang a rock that's got iron on it. So here we go. Here is some, what is this? Impure iron deposit. All right, so we're gonna go bang that. So we're gonna get 2 pieces, get some rock, and we got 1 piece. So we got 3 pieces of iron ore. All right, so we're gonna head back. Now, obviously, you're going to gather up as much as you can in order to, before you start heading back to process your raw materials. That's what you're going to do. You're going to process your raw materials into something better. In this case, we need it as actual iron. All right. So we need iron bars. All right, so we go back here. All right, and this is a much larger furnace than what you'll start out with. The basic furnace is a lot smaller, but this is an advanced one. Okay, so we need the iron ingot. Okay, so it takes 40 pieces of iron ore, impure iron ore, plus some charcoal to make your iron ingot. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our 40 pieces, right? All right. There's our 40 pieces. All right, we need 80 charcoal, so we'll go ahead and grab 100 of it. All right, so we put it in our furnace. Now we're ready to smelt it. We gathered up our ore. We made our charcoal. Now it's going to take an hour to make 20 ingots out of 40 impure iron ore. So go ahead and craft that. So in an hour, we'll be able to make that shield that we were looking at. All right. So like all this, charcoal takes sapwood. We go out, we go chop some trees. Okay. We need to make some more charcoal. So again, it starts off with your basic need, which is wood. All right. We need more wood. You need lots of wood. You need a stupid amount of wood, and you're wondering, well, why don't I just chop those trees? Yeah, you can chop any tree. Some of the trees depends on your axe. Take a few hits. Here's 1, 2. And you get a little bit of wood. Okay, or you can go down here to these bigger trees, and it takes more chopping. It takes a little bit more time. Now, as you're chopping, you will use your stamina. So this is where your cooking comes in handy. If you have a member of your clan that's doing all the cooking, then they can make you different types of food in which to be able to chop more trees at one time before you have to stop and rest. Okay, because you have a bigger stamina pool. All right, so we're chopping some wood here, and there you go. Okay, so again, we don't need that silver stuff, so we'll just throw that on the ground. It's not even used. All right, so we've got out, we've chopped up a whole bunch of wood. So now what we can do is we can take that wood, all right, and start turning it into charcoal. You will use a ridiculous amount of charcoal throughout your game. Okay, so it takes 50 sapwood to make 25 charcoal. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and let's do another one. Now, the more charcoal kilns you have, the more charcoal you're going to have over the allotted time period. So if it takes 20 minutes to make 25 charcoal, if you have a pretty good amount of charcoal kilns, then you're going to have a large supply of charcoal in which to do whatever you want to do. Smelt ore, or pottery kilns. You need to make bricks. That takes charcoal. And some clay. There's a lot of stuff in like in alchemy. Okay, you've got to have charcoal and some other, stuff in order to craft, these, say you want to craft these here. Now that takes 10 minutes, some of this stuff, there's 30 minutes to craft, so there are different times in which to craft your different items. Some of the items doesn't cost you anything. You just have to have the station itself. So like this water here, these water wells here. All right. So you select your water, and since it's the only thing it's going to make, then go ahead and craft the item. And that'll take, it takes 30 seconds to make 10 water. All right. So obviously, the more you have available to you, the more water you can have at any one given time. It doesn't cost you anything to manufacture the water itself. And some of the stuff does cost you a different, whatever you're trying to make. Like for instance, here we made yeast. Okay, so it takes 1 hour to make 20 yeast, which that 20 yeast requires 20 rye flour and 20 water. So to make the rye flour, again, it takes an hour. So if you're going to craft yeast, if you say, hey, I need yeast in order to make whatever, bread, it's used in alcohols or wine making and stuff. So there's a lot of different things that yeast is used for. It's going to be a minimum of 2 hours in which to craft or be able to craft whatever you're trying to do. And that's just with yeast. So again, you want to have, quite a few stations. The more stations you have of that particular type, the more product you can have when that product's time has elapsed. So, it definitely does help to have more stations, not crafting stations, not the different tables. You only need one table. Matter of fact, you can actually use other people's tables. Any person, even if they're part of your clan or not part of your clan, can walk up to the tables you own and craft whatever they want. They can actually use your crafting table without having to build their own. Now, the only things they do, that stuff like this, no, they couldn't use these. They couldn't use this reagent distiller. They can't use the small spit roast, or the large spit roast, or our charcoal chems. They have to be part of your group, part of your clan, part of whatever, in order to use those stations. And that's assuming that you have the plot that they're built on as access to the clan. In other words, shared by the clan. So, anybody just can't just run up there and grab something. But they can use your tables. Okay, so they can definitely use your table. All right. So it would literally take an hour or so to get the ore. So once we got the ore, okay. So here we go. We got our ore. Let's continue building that one item. Okay. So we need to build this: an iron spike, 20 iron nails, and 2 iron sheets. Okay, I might have that available already. Okay, the iron spike. Yep, I got the iron spike. Okay, iron sheets, iron nails. So I need to make one more iron sheet. Okay, so you would take your iron ingots. Okay, and find your iron sheet, and then you would craft it. Okay, then you can craft 10 of them, or you can craft just one, or you craft all of them. In other words, all the iron ore would be put into iron sheets. We just only need one more, so we'll go ahead and just craft one. So here's what the crafting is. Now, you have different levels in your crafting. Okay. So let me go to something that's got different levels. Okay, so that's not too bad there. Let's see. Let's check out leather working. Is there any X's on this one? Yes, there is. All right. So here you have the full range of the different levels as far as how to or what you're going to be able to craft. You have which this here it says impossible. In other words, you can go ahead and attempt to. You won't even allow you to even attempt to craft it. But even if you did, you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna lose all this material. Okay. So like here it says very hard. So it's not even worth again to attempt to even try to build this. Why? Because your chances of succeeding are going to be very, very little. Very, 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 very small. So if you attempt to do this, you're likely going to lose this unless you just got a crazy amount of materials and you don't care. So, and then it goes to hard. So that's very hard. This is hard. Now you do have, I'd say roughly about, a 25% chance of succeeding. Yeah, you're going to gain a lot of XP when you do a successful craft, but more likely you're going to lose a lot of this materials, because when you do craft it and you do not succeed, you will lose some or all of the materials that you in order to craft that one particular item. So it can be very risky to craft some of the higher end items if you're not very high in whatever you're trying to do. Like this one here is moderate. Okay. Then it goes easy. Okay. And you can still fail. You can still fail moderate. You can still fail easy. And then you have very easy, and you think, oh yeah, no problem, right? You can still fail a very easy craft. But once it hits trivial, there is no chance you will fail your craft. So when you go to craft, if I was going to craft these shaggy leather bracers, I have these materials on hand, I hit the craft button, it will not fail. Okay. Same way if you have it mastered. Okay. If it's mastered, again, you will not fail to craft that one item. So it's actually worth, especially when you start getting into some of these items that really, really cost you a lot of, harder to get materials. Like to get steel, you got to get what's called pure iron ore, which is only located in the PvP area. Now there are some mobs, there are some NPCs that do drop it, but your chances, you're rolling the dice for whether or not you're going to get some or not. It's a lot more work to get, a little bit of ore in order to craft that, in order to, get your steel. Generic fine leather, that's, pretty, again, that's, a lot harder item to get. You have to have these large animal hides, and when you take these large animal hides and you put them over here on the simple rack to get your fine generic leather. So this takes 20 minutes. Okay, it takes 5 large animal hides, and you only get 5 fine generic leather. So it takes, a lot to do that. Like here, I don't have any extra here. All right. So, that's the different levels in your crafting will dictate, whether or not you're going to be able to successfully craft that item. So like my current skill right now in leatherworking is level 20. So now this is armory. So as an armorer, my armor smithing skill is level 24. Okay. So if I'm going to make this one item, I'm considered a master crafter in order to make that, so I will not fail this craft. So if I go ahead and hit my craft, and there we go. Now that item is crafted. Okay, so I will not fail. But if I was going to try to attempt to, say, build this reinforced buckler, okay, so that's 20 steel nails, 1 steel pike, 3 steel sheets, and some short fine wood stock in order to craft that one shield. Excuse me. So, it's very hard. Was it be worth me to even attempt it? No, I wouldn't even bother. You know, that's going to be too difficult in order to try to craft that. So it's not worth even attempting to even to try to go ahead and craft it. You'd waste more materials than you would succeeding at getting that. Okay, so now you have your new. We can go ahead and equip that, and there you go. Excuse me, I'm trying to trying to get over a cold. So there you go. Got that tiny little shield that's going to help block things. So, you know, it takes, you know, a while in which to craft different things. All right, but for now, let's just go ahead and throw that in here because we don't need it. You know, so crafting is very, very intense as far as what do you need in order to start it. You start out with your basic, you start out with your basic or raw materials that you go out and you go gather, So if we're going to go gather something, you're going to be running around the map and gathering different plants, materials, whatever you want, whatever you're looking for in particular. You'll run around and you're going to gather those raw materials. You'll take those raw materials back to a station of some sort or table and turn that into a more advanced material or component. And then from that, from those components, you turn that into eventually you'll be your finished product. But it's going to require, products from all different areas. All right. So, that is pretty much crafting in a nutshell. It can be long drawn out and requires a lot of different materials in order to craft that. All right, so here's some clay. This is you'll find these different things that you'll find in the world, and you walk up to it. You'll hit your E button in order to gather those items. All right. Pretty basic, pretty simple. There's, stuff all over the place. Some of the things as you play the game, you will actually learn, what you can and can't pick up, what's valuable, what's not. Okay, so like, here's death cap mushrooms. You can pick those up. You can actually turn these into a potion of some sort, and then use that in order to make a health potion. Okay. All right, so combat. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, the combat's crap. Combat's crap." I don't have a problem with it. I guess it depends on what you want. All right, so I've got them using a sword, or a shield. All right, so there's the attack. You can lock onto somebody by hitting the X button, but when you lock onto them, you get hit from the side, which isn't that good. All right. All right, so we can stab them. We can lock onto them. There you go. Again, you'll pick them up. You get all kinds of different items from it. Okay. Again, you'll take these raw resources and go do something with them. All right, so let's take some of these foods. Okay, so right now my health is maxed out at 100 and my stamina is maxed out 50. So I'm going to eat some these foods that have been crafted. Okay, so we'll activate that. Activate that one, and then we'll activate that one. So now my health went up to 205 with a stamina of 78. Okay. Now, if you needed to take a health potion, that'll health potion you're up. Or if you have the ability to cast magic, then you'll cast magic. So like I have this healing spell, so I can cast that. All right. Cast that on myself. And there you go. I'll gain some health from that. I don't have an issue with combat. Some people do, because you don't have no roll, dodge, whatever. I mean, but once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. I don't see a problem with it, but other people do. Okay, so here's I'm going to use my bow. All right. Let's take this guy out. I can't hardly see it because that's the only issue I have sometimes with this game is the the character and when you go to aim. So there you go. Again, I was able to pick up some items when you go to, and all the stuff that you pick up is used in something. So let's see here. There you go. Pull that guy. He's going to come over here, and we'll shoot him again, and then he's dead. The bows are pretty powerful. All right. Boom. There we go. All right. So all these, you go out, you go hunting or go kill a bunch of animals. You can take all those items and take them back to your base and process all those items. So there's a lot of things that are really in depth in this game that they've done that are pretty cool. Again, I don't have too much of an issue with the combat. I think it's pretty cool. But some people say, oh well, it's not. Combat's crap. Be more specific. What's wrong with it? That's what I always say. Stop griping about the problem, or stop griping, and provide a solution. Makes life a little easier. So you bring all that stuff back, and allows you to do whatever you need to do. We can turn our leather into large, rough animal hides, or we can save them. Okay, we can save that leather for a later time and process it all at one time. However you want to do that, it doesn't really matter. But you're going to require some kind of station. Here I got a bunch of stuff that I've been saving to do a craft on something later on when I have enough of that particular item. You're going to need lots and lots and lots of storage boxes. Oops, that's the wrong item. Let's drop that in there. Okay. Here's some clay. We'll drop that away. Here's a little bit of rock. We'll go ahead and put that away too. We'll just kind of put all this stuff away here. There's a box of charcoal. And another box of charcoal. A lot of stuff in this game is useful in some way, shape, or form. Most of it is. But there are a few things that, as of right now, it's not really that important. So, you don't really need tons and tons of it. Okay, there's that. All right. That's my excess box. Alrighty, so here's, some wool. Put away our iron that we used up some. Whole bunch of bones. Now the antlers aren't really used for but just one item, but hey, you never know. They might figure out something more with them. All right, a little bit of charcoal on me. We'll just throw that on here. Okay, so we've talked about the building, the crafting. Here's your different equipment. The better equipment you have, the higher your defenses and stuff will go. Your higher your resistances or defenses towards, say, blunt, piercing, and slashing, the less damage you take whenever something hits you. So, better gear helps you fight longer, helps you fight better. It doesn't really help you fight better, it just allows you to stay in a fight a lot longer, even though some of these mobs will hit you like a truck. Okay, so what else is there to say about this game that's actually, you can always ask, well, is the game fun? Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. You know, it is very time consuming in order to do a lot of different things. You know, especially if you're trying to do a lot of the crafting. All your skills, it takes a long time in which to gather materials, then go process most of those materials, and then go to a workbench and then use those materials to craft whatever it is you want to craft in order to gain levels in that. Uh, but again, you know, that allows you to build things like, you know, this stairwell. You know, make it look nice. Um, you know, it takes a lot of materials in order to make anything. You know, I tell you what, the views are just absolutely awesome. You know, here we were way over there on the far distance the other day. Uh, you know, and as you look across everything, and it's like, wow, you know, it just goes to give you kind of a scope of how big this game is. It's pretty intense. You know, and they're making the improvements to it. You know, as far as what needs to be done. You know, bugs or there's you know, they find a problem with something, they take care of those problems as quickly as they can. You know, it makes life easier, makes things better. Uh, you know, when you if you play this game, you can play it solo or you could play it as a group. You know, there may be some things that you may not be able to do solo, or you have to find little tricks or whatever in order to do that. But overall, I do really enjoy this game. Uh, Hope this helps. I hope this gives you some gameplay that you're looking for in order to decide what you want to do, or whether or not you want to get involved in this type of game or not. If you like building, if you like crafting, the world is pretty massive. So going out, being out and exploring, all that good fun stuff there's a lot to do, and they're going to be adding more to it. Okay. They're going to be adding more to this game to make it even more than what it already is. So, hope this helps. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye for now.